I started to seek a bit of assistance in the mental health space. And the guy that I was seeing at the time, he said, "Oh, what are you passionate about?" I said, "I love cars." He said, "Let's focus on that. What sort of car have you got?" And I said, "I've got a Toyota Prado." And then he said, "Well, what are you going to do about that?" And I said, "Oh, I'd love to get a HQ as a project car and work on that." So my name's Jamie Freeman. I'm a husband, a father, and a very avid HQ enthusiast. I've sort of grown up with a passion for cars. Dad's a mechanic, so he's provided a lot of guidance and leadership for me over the years in building the HQ and sort of supporting this habit or interest that I've got. So it's been great having him around to help sort of work on the car and give me a lot of ideas. Mental health, particularly for blokes, we're not particularly good at letting people know sort of where we're at and what we're feeling. So the HQ's been great therapy for me. The memories that I've created with my family and friends over the years around cars and motorsport, I've wanted to pass that on to the girls in particular. I remember when we were pulling the HQ down, the girls would quite frequently want to give me a hand. So I think between the two of them, they were the only two girls in primary school that knew what a half-inch drive, three-quarter socket was. I remember being young and have vivid memories of being snuck into the drive-in behind the driver's seat on the floor with a rug over the top of me. Even the smells when I was building this one, one of the first things we did was we ripped the interior out and pulled up the carpet. And as we were ripping that out, the smell just reminded me, it took me back to when I was 4 years old being snuck into the movies. It's very much been a journey to not just build the car, but evolve the car through that build. Apart from sort of some specialised components on the car, most of them have been sourced in Australia or locally sort of fabricated, which has been really good. So out driving the car, it does go around corners, but it probably prefers a nice flat road. Being naturally aspirated, it's just got that particular sound. Now that I'm running it on E85 with a larger carb, the throttle response is quite crisp. The rumble, because it's a rather large solid cam in it, it's still got a nice burble to it. It's really something that I wanted to focus on to make sure that the car had that. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. The owners of the Lakeside Circuit organise a lot of, not so much track days, but sort of cruise events with different car clubs. And the Lakeside facilities are really good, and hopefully they'll be around for a long time yet. So when I was looking around for a project car, I was pretty keen on the HQs. I love the shape and the back end and just the sort of roundness of those bodies. The car is a 1972 Holden Kingswood sedan, four-door. The engine that's ended up in it is a small block Chev. It's a Dart Little M block with 15-degree heads. It's got a solid roller camshaft. It's running a carby, so it's running on E85 at the moment, which is, I think, where I'm going to leave it, about 1,000 CFM. It's got an MSD grid ignition, running about 13-to-1 compression. The engine itself is about 800 horsepower at the flywheel on the engine dyno on the E85. I'm just shy of 2 horsepower per cubic inch, which is a pretty good sort of measure. In '74, Holden built the four-door GTS Monaros. I had in mind that I sort of wanted to keep that as a theme, but I didn't want to chop up an original GTS because I knew that I was going to do a few modifications to it. The main thing that drives me nowadays is my family. In the early years, it was probably my career. So I would say I'm quite a driven person, and that's reflected in a lot of the stuff that I've done. I think from as long as I can remember as a young kid, I've always sort of pushed myself that extra bit to, I suppose, get ahead a little bit in life. And I've applied that same logic to building the HQ.